Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be talking about special right triangles, so 45, 45, 90 and 30, 60, 90, similar to the problems you see up on the screen here. Just a reminder, this is the speedrun version where we go through it pretty quickly. If you want the normal version, I'll link that in the description below. For your Ricasso Recap, you should already know how to work with radicals and fractions, how to multiply radicals, you should know how to solve equations, and you should know how to label special right triangles. If you want refreshers on any of these three topics, there will be videos in the description below. Please go watch those before you start this lesson. All right, new lesson starts now. Here we go. So here, I have given you the answers. Okay, these are 45, 45, 90 degree triangles, and I've given you A, B, and C. I've given you the answers. And your goal, your mission, should you choose to accept, is can you find a pattern with these answers? So go ahead and pause the video, give it a think, and when you're ready, unpause and we'll check your answers. Okay, now they've had time to work these problems, let's talk about them. So you should have noticed that A and B are always the same. A and B are always the same number, right? So if A is 7, B is 7. If A is 5, B is 5, okay? And you should have noticed that C is always equal to, let's say, A times the square root of 2, right? There's always the square root of 2, and it's always the same number for all of these. Okay, you could also say that C is equal to B square root of 2, but most of the time it's written as C is equal to A square root of 2. So let's see how these work. So here are two formulas. These are 45, 45, 90 degree triangles. So let's find some sides. First thing I would do is label A, B, and C. We should know how to do that. So this is A, B, and C. Could flip A and B, no problem. And so let's find our other sides. Well, we know that A and B are the same, so this must be 10. Cool. And C is equal to A squared of 2. I know that, there we go. I know that A is 10. So then C is equal to 10 squared of 2, and we're done with that problem. We have found all the sides. For the second problem, you'll notice that they've given you a letter already. That's the one we're trying to find. My suggestion would be, okay, I'm trying to find this side here, but use your A, B, and C. That way you don't get your letters mixed up. So we'll call this A, call this B, call this C. So they give us C is equal to square root of 6. We know that C is equal to A square root of 2. That's a formula that we're given. So let's replace C with the square root of 6 is equal to A squared root of 2. And now we solve this like an equation. Divide on both sides to get the A by itself. And we're going to get A is equal to square root of 6 divided by square root of 2. Just divide the number 6 divided by 2 and keep the square root. So we get A is equal to the square root of 3, which means that, this is the square root of 3 and this is the square root of 3. All right, same deal. Here are 30, 60, 90 degree triangles. And I've given you the answers. Pause the video, see if you can figure out a pattern here. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's see what patterns we came up with. So let's start with A and C, because most students see that one first. C is always equal to 2 times A. It's always double, right? So 2 to 4, 6 to 12, 15 to 30. Cool. Let's do this. So C is always equal to 2 times A. And then B is always equal to, there's always a square root of 3, notice, always a square root of 3, and it's always A in the front, okay? So this was 2, so this was 2. This was 6, so this was 6. These are our two formulas that we are going to use. So, see how they work. Here are our formulas that we just talked about. So in this problem, this is B, right? This is A. We know what B is, and we're trying to get to C. Well, we don't have a formula that goes directly from B to C, but what we can do is if we know B, we can find A, and once I know A, I can find C. So the goal is to go from knowing B to knowing A to knowing C. So from B to A, we know that B is equal to A square root of 3. They tell us B in the problem is 6 square root of 3. So 6 square root of 3 is equal to A square root of 3. You could just say, oh, the number in front of the square root of 3 is A, or you could just do the algebra, divide by the square root of 3 on both sides, and we're getting that a is equal to 6. Cool. Now that we know a, we can find c, because I know that c is always 2 times a, therefore c is equal to 2 times 6, and c is 12. Final answer. For this one, they tell us b again, and we're trying to get to c, so same process. So let's do, let's use this formula. B is equal to a square root of 3. I know that b is equal to this 3 square root of 6. Good. Now we need to get the a by itself, so we're going to divide by the square root of 3 on both sides. And when we do that, we're getting that a is equal to 3 square root of 2. 6 divided by 3 is the 2. And then last part, we know that c is equal to 2 times a. Therefore, c is equal to 2 times 3 square root of 2. c is equal to 6 square root of 2. Whoops. 6 square root of 2. Final answer. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem here is the work. Should have gotten b is equal to 2 square root of 6. And for the second problem here is the work. Should have gotten c equals 2. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.